Hey, Roscoe.
What's up, nobody?
Deja vu. I've been to this place before.
Deja Vu Part 2. We have been to this place before. This is our second time recording this after our audio was mysteriously destroyed, ruined, sabotaged
I blame the goblins. They did it.
by our digital audio workstation gods.
But Roscoe. Have you
Yes.
heard? Have you heard of this guy? He might be not super well known. Probably no one heard of him. His name is Aesop Rock. Have you heard of this person?
Oh, was he like Lord Pretty Flacco Jody with the box braids?
No. He's a little different. He's a New York rapper.
Does he
He,
love bad bitches and that's his fucking problem?
I don't know if it's his problem, but he seems to have a lot of problems. You could just go. I should just suggest to you just go to the YouTube, type in None Shall Pass, Aesop Rock, and just listen to his song because you would totally get it on first try, 100%. It'll be super easy. Just go. You can just go do that.
But it's not ASAP Rocky, right?
Absolutely not. You don't want to say that to him. He'll punch you in your face for doing that.
Well, Aesop Rocky's more like that with Travis Scott. Remember that there was a
Okay.
point in time where like people couldn't tell the difference between Travis Scott and Aesop Rock.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I remember that.
I'm not gonna lie, for a while I was like a little confused,
Are you guys? You know
which
what would
is
be
weird because
crazy?
they look nothing alike now.
Yeah, well, it would be crazy if artists actually pull that off, where there's like it's the same person, but they're just pretending it's two different people.
Yeah, that was back when I was ignorant about all the different types of braids.
Mm,
Well, I'm sure I was now because I think I just called them box braids, and I'm pretty sure they're not.
yeah, they're
There's
not.
someone who's listening. One of our 4 subscribers is really intimately aware of the art of male braids and is just like, no, that is the wrong braid. That's a butterfly braid, you dimwit.
Yeah, well, like hair's weird. But back to the point. Yeah, what are your thoughts on Aesop Rock?
Yeah, I don't have thoughts, I have questions. And I have no answers because life is just a vacuous expanse of questions upon questions with no answers. And one of my questions, well, we know that Aesop Rock, is like a really verbose character. Should we go into like some kind of background story for about Aesop Rock, or some kind of backstory for the listeners, or
Yeah, I think I
are we
think
just
we.
gonna go with it like you know who we're talking about, and it just like if you know you know, or do we need to
Uh,
like give some kind of backstory?
I
Uh,
think I think it's fair to give some backstory. Anyone that's listening to this knows who Aesop Rock is, but let's say you don't. We could give like a brief backstory of who is Aesop Rock and maybe a little bit of tenure as a rapper.
Okay. Oh, is the pause? This is the pause. Like, hey, you came up. Oh, sorry. Is the pause? Hey, nobody. Came up with this I'm not even nobody. Is the is the pause? Hey, Roscoe, you came up with this question, so you should give this biography.
You can. I can give it because mine will be super short.
Let's both try to give one, and then we can just cut it, depending
Okay.
on whether or not which one we like more.
Okay, I'll go first. I go first. Get it. Move. Get out the way. Ugh. All
Okay.
right. All right. I'm in front of the mic now. This digital mic. So Aesop Rock is a New York-based rapper. I would say he is fairly well respected in the rap community, especially if we talk about like backpack. No, I don't want to say backpack, but underground or maybe alt rock. Not alt rap. He's been in the rap game for a long time now, like at least 25 years, right?
He's been ignored way longer than we've been interested. Tell you that much.
Yeah. He's been rapping for a long time, and in my opinion, I think is really well respected by a lot of rappers. One of the biggest things people think about when they think about Aesop Rock is his vocabulary, right?
He's sort of a
Aesop,
rapper's rapper, right?
yeah, he's like a rapper's rapper. Even Lupe Fiasco, another very talented and well respected rapper, has publicly said he really likes Aesop Rock stuff, and he made a whole video telling people why you should listen to more Aesop Rock.
Not just
Um,
why, how you should listen to Aesop Rock.
True, yeah, right, true. right? At least in his tenure, he has this effect, and he's not one of these rappers that you would find on the radio for real. Like if we're talking about like rap fans or whatever, you know, you have basic regular fans. I think you find Aesop Rock once you leave that like very base level of like rap fan. Like you have to dig a little bit deeper to find his music. And I think that's not just a thing with just him. You know, I feel like this happens to like Lupe Fiasco is a good example. Earl Sweatshirt's another good example where I feel like if you're listening to him, you have kind of sought this out in a way. Like it's really hard for you just to catch him in like the way that maybe like very new or very not super deep in fans of rap to catch these rappers, because like you kind of actively have to find them out, like not find them out, actively find their music. They're not going to show up on the radio. And I'm not trying to say like, oh, I am so dug into rap. I think I'm pretty like okay with my rap knowledge or whatever, or like my rap game knowledge, I guess. But I was like, you're definitely not gonna be. I really find it really hard to see like someone that is not really into rap and only listens to rap on the radio ever hearing an Aesop Rock song.
Yeah, I think that's a good example. Like, yeah, he's not a rapper you're gonna find on the radio. If you do find him on the radio, you're somewhere out in like Washington, wherever you are. You're living amongst hippies, and you need to leave.
Yeah, right.
And he's not very much a mainstream rapper. He's signed to an independent label, Rhyme Sayers, with I'm trying to see if there's any artists like
Atmosphere's on there.
Yeah, Atmosphere. I was gonna say Wiki, but that's not Wiki. Atmosphere's on there. Dang, I forget that. What's his name? Like Brother something. Brother Red. Ah, man, I forget some of the people that are on there. But there's a lot of like really underground artists. I think at one point in time he was signed to LP from Run the Jewels label, and they had a big falling out. But yeah, he's a New York rapper. He is very well known for his very out of the pocket rapping style, his use of words. He is infamous for having the biggest vocabulary in hip hop. And if you actually graft it out, which there have actually been hip hop studies about the amount of distinct words, that's words, individual different words that rappers use in their entire discography, and they have listed them on a spectrum from lowest to highest, and he is about a standard deviation past just about every rapper that is relatively mainstream or relatively well known.
It's pretty crazy some of the words he uses in his songs, because like literally I have gone to like dictionary.com, like listen to one of his songs being like, I have never heard this word before.
Yeah,
like
how do you listen to Aesop Rock? Within dictionary.
right, like it's not like he will throw out like a huge multi-syllable word like it's nothing, and it's not like the main focus of the bar, right? Like I gotta floss the albatross, right? Like that is not the main point of that bar. Right?
I mean, that's not even a dictionary thing. That's like a literary reference.
Yeah,
to
but
a very obscure old short story.
I think it's like I gotta floss the albatross like Big Daddy with, what's it?
Like Daddy Came with the Cane.
Yeah, like Daddy Came with the Cane, and like that is one is a literature reference, a Greek one I believe, and the other is like a pop culture reference of rap, right? Like if you already know that who that person is if you're a rap fan.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you have to know like three separate things, and I know all these distinct things, and I don't really know the meaning of that actual bar. Is you have to know what floss means, like in terms of like both like actual floss and like terms of like flossing, like flexing.
Yeah,
That might be the term. I'm not sure if that's even how he's using it. Then you have to know the thing about don't shoot the was it like don't kill the albatross, or having an albatross around your neck from the Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. Then you have to know who Big Daddy Kane is, which is like an 80s, like I think he's like an 80s rapper.
Yeah, he's an 80s rapper.
Maybe 80s, maybe 70s.
Yeah, and I believe he's using flossing as the way you're saying, as like showing off and stuff like that. But like, yeah, it's a lot, right? And this is like just a super common theme throughout Aesop Rock's like whole like rap career, in my opinion, where it's like these there's so many references, singular bars or a rhyme scheme, and it really makes it difficult to understand what's going on, and it forces a lot of people to have to re-listen to his music multiple times
How many times do you think you've listened to a Aesop Rock song in one sitting?
in one sitting.
Yeah, let's go one sitting, and then like how many times have you listened to Aesop Rock song in total? Like that same song.
It doesn't have to be a specific song.
It's got to be one song
I've listened to Gauze at least 20 times in a sitting.
in a sitting.
Yeah, in a sitting. I've listened to it because I was trying to think. Maybe not even Gauze. I think the better one. Because I was trying to figure out a certain part of that bar. There's like a, and I guess like it wasn't a sitting because I wasn't 100% focused on it, but I had it on loop on YouTube, and I was just listening to it over. I've done that with jazz hands too, where I've listened to it at least like 10 to 20 times just on loop, while I'm just like looking stuff up and like just listening to the bar over and over again.
That's like that's not a normal thing for rap. Like
Yeah,
no one sits. I'm not trying to diss Aesop Rock. You know, he's just not the superior stone based rapper. But you're not listening to like an ASAP Rocky song, no matter how lyrical it is, more than 3 times to parse through the lyrics. Not saying he has really dumb lyrics. He doesn't. He has
yeah,
some pretty. He has probably of all the more turnt rappers. Oh my god, I sound so old. Of all like the more like high energy song based rappers, he is the most lyrical of them all.
yeah. And like what's called you, I said like, hey, I've listened to this like 10 to 20 times of each one of these songs or whatever. And if you sat me down and you forced me to explain what's going on, there's a good chance I won't be able to do it, right?
Yeah.
There's a good chance I won't be able to do it. I've done this. I've tried to do this with None Surpass too. Like None Surpass, I've sat down and listened to it a whole bunch of times. And maybe because I am smooth brain and small brain at the same time, like if you asked me like, well, what's None Shall Pass to be about, I would say a whole bunch of vague random shit, and I'll point at certain bars and I'll say like, I know this bar is about this, right? But like if you told me to explain the whole thing, I'll be like, bro, I don't know, maybe
Yeah.
like maybe it's this, but like it's thing. It's hard. I don't know.
And that leads me to my first question. Do you think that Aesop Rock, when he goes and he sits down in his diner because he's a hipster like me, oh yeah, when he sits down in his diner because he's a hipster like me, nobody. Do you think that he is first paying focus to the lyrics in the song and the I'm not gonna say the message. Do you think he's paying attention to the lyrics of the song, or do you think he's more focused with the actual beat and the flow and the cadence that he's trying to attack on this record, on his records?
I think that's it. That's a hard question. Like so I think Aesop Rock has a pretty good flow. I don't think he's like crazy good like you when you think of someone like Jid or K Dot. Like they're like, if you think of K Dot's like some of his songs and like his flow, he's able to like just flip on a dime. And I think I got this from a video, or you told me this, where it's like he feels like a drummer, right? The way he can change his flow and move through beats and stuff like that. I don't think Aesop Rock skill of flow is at that level, but I think he still has some movement. So I think he's able to force a lot of these unwieldy words into a bar because of his flow and his style. Like he has enough flow energy. I've been watching too much of the Dragon Flow Z thing, but he has enough skill to do that. But I honestly think he doesn't think about like writing, like making about the flow that much when he's thinking about it. I think he's more about thinking about the words and the general message he's trying to get across. Because there's a bar that I remember. Let me see if I can find it because I've been writing down some of his bars just to like what to prepare for this. And this one I wanted to bring up. It's like it's from Gauze. It's from Gauze, the one I was been talking about. The bar is like I write 8-bit maps for the so depressed. From the funk in the mode to the gold in the chest. Notice I don't program any actual way to progress to convey an effect. Gold in the chest. Notice I don't program an actual way to progress to convey an effect. And at least to me, the way that comes off as like he makes these albums and like songs like very heavily feelings based and stuff like that, and trying to portray some type of message, but maybe that's like not, I don't want to say it's like pointless, but it's at least he feels like it's really hard or difficult or even impossible for anyone to like really get what he's saying. Or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe it's only you only get it because it's coming like you're the one that's interpreted it.
I slightly disagree with you. Nobody. I'm gonna tell you why. There's two things I've managed to dig up about Aesop Rock, or I've discovered as I've listened to him. And you might know some of these, but I'm just gonna relay this. One of his techniques for songwriting that I've learned is that he gets a lot of his words just from scrolling through the newspaper. Like at one point, I don't know if he still uses the style, but he would get a newspaper, look through like the daily, like whatever news press, like the news or the sports section or like whatever, and he'd pick out like words and he'd try to incorporate them in his songs. That's one of the things. So there's that, and I'd say he does have I am able to, like, if you told me to ask me to how flow like Aesop Rock, or like make a song like Aesop Rock, it's imitatable enough where you're gonna know that I'm doing an Aesop Rock flow, and that's just like his bass flow.
Yeah,
and he's also got a lower voice, like
you're lucky I think your lower voice people over there.
Yeah, they're pretty lower voiced rappers tend to be very slow. Like Biggie Smalls is one of the best rappers flow wise of all time, or at least the way he's credited with, but he doesn't have a very fast flow. It bounces around, but it's still very slow. It's not like Jid, I don't even know. Jid is like a heavy metal drum set. If we're gonna talk about rappers like we talk about a drum, which is I'm gonna get to later in terms of like verbal percussion, like rap is verbal percussion, like Jid and Eminem and Denzel Curry and Ski Master Slump God to me are more like a really high paced tribal heavy metal drum set, and Notorious B.I.G. and Aesop Rock are kind of like a jazz. They're a little bit more like jazz, or like a basic. I say Aesop Rock is like a standard alternative rock drum at like maybe like a lower BPM. But it is like a distinct, like if you ask me how it sounds, like Aesop Rock song kind of like drags on in a really weird way.
I agree. I agree with you. Like it's not like he's going super fast with these words. Like you can hear what he's saying and understand it. And yeah, I do agree. Like he has his own flow, and I do agree that it's also slower. I think those are. I feel like if those things are debated, they're not heavily debated in my opinion. Right? Like they shouldn't be heavily debated. I think everything you said in that statement was pretty true.
I think he may use a dictionary. I'm not sure if he uses I'm pretty sure he uses a dictionary, because I don't think you're gonna find all those big words in a newspaper. But it seems like a lot there, from what I remember in his terms of his songwriting. It was very like, it was almost like a collage element to his songwriting practice. And if I'm thinking about approaching a song like how Aesop Rock would approach a song, like if someone pulled a gun to my head, like you have to find a close enough possible way that like Aesop Rock approaches his songwriting, and you have to use it based on like what you know about his songwriting. I guess what I'm thinking, maybe the reason why he uses the different he uses found words, like, I don't know, have you ever listened to like a Joji song?
Yeah.
Like you know how Joji has like found like he has like found sounds like in like the drum section. Like he'll
Yeah.
just have a random chain.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I don't know. I kind of see him using his words, like found words, almost like that. Like they add extra texture or like an extra sort of like timing to the drums
Mm.
in the sense of how he's rapping, like rap in terms like of a beat. So you like each word takes up a specific amount of time in the song. Like finding a random word or like this random word adds like a different texture in terms of like how the word sounds, and it adds different timing in terms of how the word is timed when you say it. So that's why I have the opposite idea that where I think he is more flow based than
Then
lyric. But I definitely think I mean, of course, I think he pays attention to lyrics and tone. I'm not
Yeah.
sure about it in None Shall Pass. I feel like None Shall Pass is just, I'm just gonna throw every single word on the wall, make it as dense as possible.
What's it called? It's like flash that buttery gold, jittery,
Jittery
zeitgeist.
zeitgeist,
Bro, it's like,
down
bro,
by the watering hole. What a
it's like, bro,
patrol
it's
or
like, bro,
something.
this is only 3 bars and we getting a bit much. But yeah, I think
And that flow is, I think that flow is pretty close to Jid level.
and I think yeah, that's an example of like he has the skill to like to maneuver these words into his bar. He will change up flows to do it, but I do agree his bass flow is like this like deeper voice, slower flow, and I think it also makes it feel like bars are longer than they actually are because his flow is so like slow sometimes. A 2 bar thing seems longer somehow.
Cause them words.
Yeah, because it's those words. I know we disagree here, but like, you know, kind of this is a thing to throw out to the audience and everyone. We don't know Aesop Rock. If Aesop Rock was listening to this, he would probably say, "Shut the fuck up! You guys don't know what you're talking about," or whatever. But like, you know, we're not saying we know him or anything like that. We're just thinking our thoughts, and these are all just generally our opinions. But
He is the most enigmatic rapper of all time.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Next to
And
MF Doom.
yeah, I agree with you. Like I was gonna make that point real quick where it's like, yeah, like I think the reason why we can have so much rain on the speculation with this stuff is because Aesop only really interacts with his fans through his music in this day and age, right? There are not a lot of interviews of him. There are not a lot of things of him just talking to people. Like he kind of only interacts with his fans through the music. That's the main interface that people see him through.
Perhaps it's because he doesn't like and he doesn't go outside.
Yeah, he's taking cues from Earl. But yeah, and that's like, you know, that's I'm not saying this is like uncommon. Like like other rappers, other musicians do the same thing. But like in this day and age, it's just very, you know, interesting that people do that.
Especially in a genre that today and even in the past has been so based on braggadocio and image and money and status. Like, when have you ever seen Aesop Rock not dressed like a hobo or a baseball player?
I started thinking about it. It's like, man, yeah, man. Every time I see that dude, he's rocking that hobo drip, but I can't really like flame him for that because I do the same thing. Like, but like, yeah, he's very big. But he said this before, right? Like he said there was a point in his career where he wanted to just like kind of stop talking about himself. I think he even mentions it on Rogue Wave. Like, let me see if I can find a lyric real quick.
I think I remember the interview. I think it might have been in that Earth Open Mike Eagle interview where he said something on terms of he got so tired of the sort of like braggadocio and like this is who I am and having to talk about himself in the first person. He just got tired of talking about himself, and then he started becoming more I don't know, enigmatic. Well, he was already enigmatic before, but he started using terms of like telling stories that are layered in the sense that they do relate to his life, but they're also obscured by the story of the song. And he started using more third person perspectives in his songs.
Yeah, like there's tons of songs with Aesop Rock where it's like it's obviously relating to him, but he's like it'll be like the kid or like another like neutral term instead of talking about himself. There's a whole album called The Impossible Kid, which I feel is more of a reflection on him than anything else.
Yeah, that's probably his most personal album though.
The bar I was looking for is it's from Rogue Wave and it's like I'm a cancer on the
glamour. I can't with the me.
You said I'm a cancer on a glamour.
I'm a cancer on the glamour. I can't with the me.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh God, man, that's
Yeah. And this kind of leads into one of my questions: is like when you think of Aesop Rock, what do you think about? What do you image? Because at least every time we do one of these random talks on artists, at least in my opinion, I only feel comfortable about talking about it until when I get like an image of this is how I image this rapper or this artist. I can go first with like my image of Aesop Rock. But do you want to, or do you want me to go, or do you want to go first?
I can't not imagine him either at anywhere other than at a baseball game, in a cafe, or working at a tattoo parlor.
Those are pretty good guesses.
And like talk. I feel like he is the type of person. Well, he said it himself. He spent a lot of years making friends with cool artists. Like he's hanging out with tattoo artists and like visual artists. I don't think he really is around musicians a lot. I think he said that himself in interviews as well. What do you think?
Yeah, for me, when I imagine like Aesop Rock, I think of like a wall of text that's like oozing emotion somehow.
It's just the giant Star Wars text that goes down the screen.
Yeah, it's just that, but it's still very like emotional in a weird way. Maybe the texts are like different sizes and they're not uniform or whatever, but like it just feels more alive than just a wall of text. And when I see his work or listen to his work, that's why I feel a lot where it's like I'm getting thrown so much information at once and so many like big words, but the feeling behind it still feels real. And then when I, like we're probably gonna talk about this more in a little bit, but like you would listen to an Aesop Rock song, walk away from it, listen to it again, and come back with like a totally different experience from it, or you find that one bar that really gets you or makes you like think about the whole work in general. And it was no mere bar that you kind of just completely skipped or just didn't hear on the first go around.
Yeah, there's sort of an active participation that you have to have when you're listening to an Aesop Rock song. That is like, it's a continuous practice.
Yeah.
It's like you don't just actively listen one time. You have to actively listen every time you listen. Or, I mean, you don't have to, but if you want to get more out of it, you actually have to give an effort.
I think of Klutz and Shrunk. Like, I've listened to Klutz and Shrunk when I was younger, like in high school. And Shrunk and Klutz, I was like, oh, they're okay, but I don't really get it. It's not really great. And now me listening to them, not even like because I'm older, but I think I'm just listening, trying to like understand more of it. Like, some of the bars I get from it is like, bro, that's some deep shit, at least maybe to me, you know what I'm saying? I think of like shriek into the vacuum in spite of your accomplishments, you wake up feeling empty like Houdini's grave probably is. That's just pretty fucking deep in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then it's like, obviously the I've been
ignored for longer than you've been interested.
And like you find all these bars. Another what I got from Klutz was like sometimes the stomach
disappears from under a retreating lens, and patterns of a need to please abusive folk reveal themselves.
It's just, you don't even have to put it in a rap. Like,
Yeah.
you could just throw it in a poetry book. You could just take, if I took an Aesop Rock's album and I shoved it into like a book form and I sold it, people would just think it was a poem that kind of rhymed.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And like I know we're giving like a whole bunch of praise and stuff like that, but like at least to me, I think this is more of like maybe Aesop. I don't think Aesop thinks this, but I don't speak for Aesop. I don't know this person at all. But like at least to me, his music feels very down to earth and personal, even though there's this layer of it that is super hard, like has a super high level of entry, like buried to entry. A lot of people just don't do it, like don't listen to his songs. But like the stuff he's talking about and the way he's portraying it is pretty like chill and down to earth, and he has songs that are just easy to understand and just random, like Long-Legged Larry, right? Like Kirby, right? That are just, I don't know. Kirby has some big syllables in it, but like about simple, nice things. And I think some Aesop Rock fans, I don't want I don't want to say get a superiority complex, but it might be that, maybe like a superiority complex where they're like, oh yeah, I'm an Aesop Rock listener and I'm a genius because I'm able to break down his lines and stuff like that. I guess what I'm trying to say, I don't think you need to be a genius to like break down Aesop Rock stuff. I think you just need to listen to it more than most other art, more than most other rap songs. And if you're actively searching, if you're down in this layer already, you're probably gonna do that. You're probably doing this with rap already, if that makes sense. Like, you don't need to be a genius to break down Aesop Rock stuff. Some fans may try to like exclude people because of that. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
You kind of get my feeling.
You don't need to be smart to go into an Aesop Rock song, but you will come out smarter the more effort you put into trying to understand it. I don't think you can't come out of an Aesop Rock song not more culturally well versed and not having a little bit more of an understanding about your own human condition.
Yeah, and it's like yeah, and I feel like some fans may throw a bit of exclusivism. You know what I'm trying to say? What's the word I'm looking for?
Exclusivity.
Yeah, exclusivity. Like that kind of poetry realm where it's like you just don't understand it. You shouldn't even try. You're obviously not, don't have a PhD in word rapping literature, so you shouldn't even try to like come up with a meaning to this bar, right? Like, he's like, oh, you're obviously dumb because I have a PhD in this. I don't think you need all that. I think,
bro, that's really how poetry is, though. It's like, bro, I think this is just a bad poem. It's like, no, you don't understand it. You don't have the skill to understand how it was constructed. Like, I understand that, but it's boring.
Yeah, right. And like, I think sometimes people can be that way, where it's like, oh, if you disagree with the way the meaning of one of Aesop Rock songs is, it's like, oh no, you're just not well educated enough to get all the references.
Yeah, there's people that will hide behind technique or like their own knowledge about something to try to hide behind like say that it's good or not.
Yeah. And
but
like,
I say that, and I am the exact person that does that.
Yeah.
I say that I know this because I do this all the time.
Yeah, and I'm not, and I know some people don't like Aesop Rock and doesn't like his music and stuff like that, and like, that's their prerogative. I don't think.
Do you really know people that don't like Aesop Rock? Do you know people that don't like Aesop Rock or just literally don't know who he is?
Yeah, I think that's the thing. A lot of people just don't know who he is.
Yeah, I think if you took the time to find Aesop Rock, I have a hard time, like,
yeah, believing that
seeing
you don't.
Yeah, you not liking him unless you're just like, I don't think he's a good rapper. I think he's just very verbose and he's just saying a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, but I don't know. This kind of leads into another question I have about communication. But do you have any more questions before I go into that?
No, I think your question actually goes into my some more of my stuff.
Okay, well, like, so we are. I guess we're nearing the end of this era, but like, I don't know. I think it still has legs and it's interesting. But we're near the end of the quote unquote mumble rap era, or maybe not near the end, but there was a huge boom of quote unquote mumble rappers that rode a big wave of SoundCloud and stuff like that. A lot of those rappers are not as prevalent anymore, so that's why I'm just saying it's probably near its end of that labeling or whatever. And a lot of reasons why a lot of people didn't like that era or had a lot of things to say about that era or this era or whatever is normally leads on this idea of communication, where it's like they're not saying anything and you can't understand what they're saying. And I was like thinking about this, and I was like, I listened to a whole bunch of Aesop Rock songs, and I know he is saying like words and stuff like that. I know the words he's saying, but I don't understand them, right?
I know you're saying words, but I'm having a seizure right now.
Yeah, it takes a lot of effort on my part to understand what he's saying. And when I do understand it, I think I come out like really happy because like the song becomes deeper to me. But like it begs a question to me about this idea of communication and rap, right? Like we put a lot of weight on this communication aspect. I guess it's based this kind of based off a quote that you said. I think you said like is Aesop Rock the greatest mumble rapper of all time? Like the most vocabulary or whatever.
Yeah, that's what that's what I was getting to. I was actually gonna go there. Yeah, that's yeah. I imagine. Yeah, when I think about that, the study, or when I think about the graph of writers, when I think about the graph of rappers who use the most and the least words, I also imagine this. You could also have a similar spectrum of rappers who are the least and most communicative. And I think there's this point where the line, it's not a straight line. You're seeing in two dimensions, and it's actually a circle. And that circle begins and ends with Playboi Carti and Aesop Rock. Like, you get on one side where you have one side where you're just not. I mean, I don't want to say this about Playboi because I'm a Playboi Carti fan, and you know what? I low key feel like he drops interesting things, but I think I'm just trying to read into it. But you have one hand, someone who doesn't really say a whole lot or isn't really trying to be understood and uses a very minimal vocabulary and only really heavily relies upon his timing and his flow and patterns. And then you have another opposite side that uses every word imaginable, and I know to me seems like the biggest thing that I can pay attention to his flow. Like I don't necessarily always listen to Aesop Rock songs for what he's saying. Sometimes I'll just turn it on. I'm just like, wow, the audio in this is trash. Like on what is it called? Is it Demon Days or what is it the album called?
Is it Bazooka Toot?
I think Bazooka Tooth might actually not be that bad. The audio might be. I think I was thinking of the one that I'm thinking of.
Is it?
It's the one where it's like gray and black. Like it's like kind of monochrome and it's got like red lettering. Hold on, I'm gonna.
Are you talking about like Float?
No. Hold on, I think it's Labor Days.
Mm.
But or it might be Bazooka Tooth. It's one of those albums where it's like the audio here is almost unlistenable. I can't really hear anything, but I hear his flow, and his flow is super interesting. And I can hear the hook, and the hook is really clever. And I'm hearing every once in a while, I'll hear like, that's a big word, and oh, that's another big word, and oh, that's a full coherent sentence. Like we go on this whole the other side where like the interesting thing is like the pattern that he uses, but also like you could listen and you could find some meaning to it. But I feel like you circle around where like no one really knows what Aesop Rock is talking about in every single song. And if you say you understand what he's talking about in every single song on every single album, you are a liar. And you are just listening to sub songs just passively. And I feel like that's the same sort of way that I listen to mumble rappers.
That kind of leads into what I've been doing. So like when I've been listening to these songs, I've been going out and like especially the ones that I like, be going out and just saying, oh, what does this mean? Maybe I can get a more deep thing. And from me going through this process, I have assigned meaning to these lyrics. And I think it made the song cooler to me. But I went on Rap Genius and other stuff or whatever, and like, you know, people just disagreed and like,
yeah.
like people were just like, bro, no, like downvoted. It is the one that's memorable to me. It's like some dude put up his like thoughts on this one bar, and then he went back and put addendums on that same like bar because he was like, I came back and I've learned more stuff and put it there. And then it's still like in the comments, people were like, bro, this didn't make sense. You have this wrong. It's about this and stuff like that. And it's kind of crazy how that debate sparks.
Yeah, I was listening to when we were last doing the last version of this podcast, I was listening to one of his albums. Man, shoot, I forget what album is this. This is like what's his most famous album? It's the one where I was listening to None Shall Pass, at first I tried to listen to the album and I was like, I have no idea what's going on here. So I looked it up on Genius, and they have a little description on each song, what it's about, and they just be saying stuff. And I'm like, are you sure? Like, I'm listening to the song, I'm hearing what you're saying, what this is about, but I don't, like, somehow this song, where I have no idea what he's saying about, is a scathing criticism on neo-industrial capitalism, but it really sounds like he's talking about his dog dying. Which it could be a metaphor for capitalism, but I feel like that's kind of a crutch that everything is kind of a criticism on capitalism if you think about it. Sometimes I don't know. I think I just threw that out there, but I feel like most things you could just say, "This is him. This is this artist critiquing capitalism."
Yeah, it's like one of those, I don't want to say buzzwords, but it sometimes could come off like one of those buzzwords where like when someone says blockchain, we're using blockchain technology and we're using like military encryption, right? That's, yes, those things exist and they're cool and stuff like that, but the way you're using them are basically meaningless and could be extended to everything, right? Like anytime you go on a website and there's that green lock sign, you are using military encryption, my friend, because it's an encryption that everyone uses, right? You know what I'm saying? Like you can ascribe certain type of like things to that, I guess. But
if I buy a candy bar and I make a song about how the candy bar is too high, like that could be if I just have a line about candy bars being too expensive, that is a criticism on capitalism.
A scathing one too.
Yes.
But yeah, I think like in my opinion, Aesop Rock stuff is worth looking into and going and like doing this like kind of deep diving, because to me his writings does, once you get an understanding of what the bar means, maybe you're wrong, maybe you disagree with most other people or whatever, but once you do, his music feels even more good. And I feel like you can do that multiple times in the same song. You can like go to a song, listen to it passively, don't care about it, go back to it, listen to it passively, one of the bars stick out, look into it, like, oh, that's a really cool metaphor for this or understanding of this or whatever, and then you leave it again, go back to the same song and grab that, and then grab a whole nother like bar and do the same thing where you're like, oh, this is another cool bar in this song that I've listened to altogether maybe like 20 or 30 times, and some of it was just purely passively, right? And I never even really noticed this bar until this moment. And it kind of makes me like, when I think about it, I think of it like a building. Like a lot of Aesop Rock's music is like a fancy, a weird, like hipster building, like not even hipster building, like a billionaire's building, right? The main difference between like his building and like I guess like what mumble rap kind of building, at least to me, would be like, Aesop Rock has this cool building that's really hard to understand. It's messed up and crazy in different ways, but the structure of it is solid, so you can actually explore and feel like you're getting stuff out of it, right? You don't feel like this thing is just gonna topple down on itself because it's all meaningless. And even when his bars are like portraying that kind of thing, is like everything's meaningless or whatever, or everything's depressing. But I feel like what happened with mumble rap is like they have a similar type of building that's super cool to explore and examine, but like it's not built on a strong foundation. So a lot of the songs tend to die over time. Like people are not super interested in the song anymore because there's not enough things to pull out of it that are like that enhance the building. And I'm not saying all mumble raps do that. I'm just saying this is like more of a general overarching metaphor. And like the reason why I'm saying both these buildings are like super cool and complicated, and I think it's like that's supposed to represent the barrier of entry of the language, right? Both Aesop Rock and a lot of mumble rappers have a high barrier of entry to like enjoy their music. You have to like, you either have to put in more effort or give up something to enjoy their music. And once you do either one of those things, people tend to grab more stuff out of it.
What rappers do you think of immediately if I tell you to think of some rappers that fit alongside Aesop Rock? Who do you think of?
Lupe Fiasco.
All right, who else?
Earl Sweatshirt.
Give me about 2 more if you can.
Oh jeez, man, this is hard. Um,
Would you put MF Doom in there?
Yo, how did I miss that? Yes, MF Doom. I got another person where I listen to it, like, I don't know what's going on here. Some of Andre 3000 stuff.
Okay. Do you want something I've noticed?
What?
I when I think about that too, I never think of Eminem. I never think of Mac Miller.
Yeah.
I never think of Logic. I don't know. I don't know what that means, but I think he's the one of the few. I don't know. I only think of him in terms of his skill. I'm never like when we've had this whole conversation. We've talked for about almost an hour. I'm gonna try to keep it this under an hour for both of our editing sanities, but or maybe we can go over like 1 hour and 5 or 10 minutes and probably be able to cut it down a bit. But
Yeah.
like we've had this whole conversation for about an hour and we have not, like, even when we both gave bios, none of us mentioned that, oh yeah, he's a rapper who also happens to be white.
Oh yeah, he's a white rapper. I forgot to mention that.
Bro, I saw a whole video where I think the title of it was like Aesop Rock is a black king. Like, and then people like were listening to the song like, oh, they legitimately like thought he was black.
Nah.
And they were like, "This is the example of a black king who really studies and shows improvement." And he's like, it was like some Hotep stuff, and it was hilarious.
Yeah. I don't think of that. I think of his skill. And like, and his subject matter is not typical like rap subject matter.
No, it's not.
Yeah, and that's not a condemning thing, but I'm saying like in the zeitgeist, like, you know, some of like one of his most influential songs, like Shrunk, right, is about going to therapy, right, and like the feelings and the emotion that wells up trying to go. I think my favorite line is like paying to fillet yourself and others.
In the name of help.
Yeah, it's like a lot of his songs are on these like very more personal and rebel kind of wavelengths that still like happens in rap, but are definitely different from like J. Cole or K. Dot. It's a different vibe because they have different experience.
Yeah, his first song on The Impossible Kid is kind of a song about the educational system.
Yeah.
And how it affected him and made him lose his interest in the things that he cared about.
Yeah, you're talking about Rings?
Yeah, I'm talking about Rings. Get Out the Car Race is just about him accepting, that his friend died that his friend was dead, and like how he was trying to move on. Like, yeah. He has songs that are more songs than raps to me.
Like, I think between both of us, I think Get Out the Car is one of at least one of my standout songs for Aesop Rock. When if someone asks me to, hey, I wanna start listening to Aesop Rock, I'm probably gonna recommend them listen to Get Out the Car. And it is a short 2-minute song that feels so fucking impactful to me, right? Like, there's so many good lines in it. I think we've talked about this in the other podcasts too, but that last line of I'm blanking on it. Let me think.
Knowing ain't half the battle. It's bullshit. Quit burning by some asshole. You can still be who you are and still sit around. No, you can still own who you are and still sit around. Stone you car, not
half with a nil, cranky and waiting for a boss key and hat full of bills.
A boss key and a hat full of bills. Yeah. Get Out the Car Ace. Yeah, I think that's a super deep line. Like super deep line. And like, it made me think about my life, right?
Yeah.
Right? Like and like even like the other one where it's like Hounds at Bay, but you just won't say
friendship in a tugboat
way, right? At least to me, I think a lot of times I sit down, look at Aesop's bars, and then I come back actually like kind of thinking about my life, right? And other rappers have done that too. J. Cole, K. Dot, recently Denzel Curry, right? But like Aesop, the reason why I feel it's weirder, it's because it feels like it's coming out of a study, right? You studied a book, and then the book's actually affecting you in your real life.
Yeah. I think we've reached a good point where we can start like winding down, but I think the best way we could start closing this off is like just me asking you what is your favorite Aesop Rock verse, And it could be one of the ones you picked.
Oh, damn. Let me think. What is my favorite verse? It's probably Jazz Hands because I've been listening to it a lot. I think there's two off of Jazz Hands. It's not my favorite. It's probably my favorite's probably the one we just mentioned with the last verse of Get Out the Car. But I've been really digging this line in Jazz Hand where it's like, I mean, let me look it up real quick. Give me a second. I step in the room, split an arrow with an arrow. The first trick shot is just to show them that I dabble. I will not be aiming at the apple. Lately, I've been treating every interaction as a living wake.
Thanking people close to me before the photo pixelate. New day, folk down, I play the game different. Changed and going from being chased to playing chicken.
And going from being chased to playing chicken. There's also another good one off of that one that's like new superpower that I can draw a roof on fire from memory. Each and every step's another bloodletting.
Yeah, those are pretty good. We both have said that the car, Get Out of the Car is probably that's my favorite song. But second to that is Hot Dogs, which is just a single. It's not even an album. There's one verse on there that I think about and I reference a lot. And it is kind of affected my worldview and for better or for worse. And it's
Where spiders eat
their mothers,
where rodents eat their young.
rodents eat their young. I'm not here to make sense where there is none. That's dumb. Which is just a really simple line. It's like one of his most simple songs, but to me, I think about that like that song is really packed with a lot of things to say. Like if you observe it, and that was like a bar that I think about.
Are you kind of like dating? Are you kind of like dating Motoron?
Yeah,
You should work
probably. I don't even know who that is, but I was probably right.
You should work on that.
Why should I be?
Another one I like, maybe because I've been listening to Gods a lot. There's this pair of verses that like was like I'm all good, quietly hacking away at the hideous riff on the formula. What is the work if it isn't a ticket to slip into vivid euphoria, huh? And then like later on in the song, it's like actively seeking to underdevelop his sentimentality. Why am I here if it isn't effectively cutting the hellions out of me? Why am I here if it isn't effectively cutting the hellions out of me?
Man, that's a good verse.
Yeah, I like how those two things pair, right? Because it's all talking about like this craft that he's working on. But yeah, you know, if you like, you should. If you're listening to this, you just go listen to Aesop Rock.
Yeah,
go give him a try. Get your dictionary ready.
Do you have an album recommendation? If you had to give them the intro album,
I would say Impossible Kid. I think the Malberry Kid. What's it called?
Impossible. Malibu Ken. Yeah. Okay.
Malibu
So let's give three progression albums. So your first would be Aesop, Impossible Kid as an intro, Malibu Ken.
I think you should listen to Float.
Okay.
I think you should listen to Float.
Yeah, I'd start off with Impossible Kid, then I'd say None Shall Pass.
Ooh, that's a big progression.
I think just to get a full scope, just go straight into it, and then I'd probably get the Spirit Guide thing if it wasn't so long.
Yeah.
Or no, what's the newest one? What's the newest one?
Garbology. That's where
I go to. You want split that, shift that, swap out Garbology, and then go to None Shall Pass.
Okay. Yeah, but yeah, if you're listening to it, tell us your thoughts. What do you think about Aesop Rock? I think and Roscoe agree that he's a pretty cool artist. You should check out, and he's super interesting. I think he pairs nicely to probably who we're gonna cover next, which is probably Lupe Fiasco, right?
Oh, are we gonna do it? Are we gonna do it for real? You promise?
I have to go get so many notes. It's
You're gonna regret this so heavily.
I was gonna be like, why is this kid turning into a zombie in the hood and also flying? Why are we just kicking and pushing?
Why is this Project House a Megazord?
Yeah, right.
How is this a top 40 hit?
Yeah, I think I think that he makes sense to do next. And then we have tons of other people that we want to cover. But back to the point. Yeah, tell us what you think about Aesop Rock. Maybe tell us what are your favorite verses from him, and maybe some songs you recommend, and why do you think he's a good album, a good album. He's a really good album, a good artist, or why do you think he's not a good artist? And what do you think makes him able to have such a high vocabulary and still produce like songs that feel fairly emotional?
Also, where do you see him hanging out?
Yeah. When you think of Aesop Rock, what do you think? What do you think? Like, what comes to your head, or where do you think he's hanging out? Yeah, just tell us what you think. Give us some thoughts and give us some feedback. And if you have listened to this, thank you. You have literally beat the algorithm if you're listening to us, and we really deeply appreciate it. And yeah, can you please actually let me let Roscoe do this, because he has the big funnies when he talks about this stuff.
Well, before I said lick the like button, this will be no, I'm not gonna say it. Before I say anything, man, I think it would be kind of cool if, I don't know, I think one of these days we should put, like, when you reach the end, you should put the Mario completion sound, when you in the old games where you like cross the flag.
Yeah, I'm doing it this time. I'm gonna do it now.
Like da-da-da-da-da-da.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks for listening. If you want to like and support us, you could like us both, actually favoring us in your heart and caring with us. You don't even have to like it. Just tell somebody. Just find somebody that you care about and say, hey, you waste an hour listening to these two guys who don't know what they're talking about ramble on about things that you don't care about, because that's our whole spiel. And if you like it, you could also just leave a regular like and subscribe.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Also, don't share this. Don't be one of those guys that shares things on Facebook. I just tell somebody about it. No one actually watches your share. Oh man, sorry, I'm becoming an asshole again. Nobody, you want to take this?
Yeah, I'll think you already have a whole clip on our highlight reel of you just going off about people sharing things. But yeah, off of what Roscoe was saying. Yeah, if you like it, like it, and if you would like to subscribe. And yeah, thanks for being cool and thanks for listening to us. And make suggestions and tell us what you think.
Yeah.
And
tell a friend, and take it easy.
Yeah, take it easy. And before we go, thank you, Roscoe, for dealing with this and talking with me.
Oh, we do it every day. We do it every day. It's nothing new, but there's a microphone. There's nothing different.
Yeah.
This is the same time length that we would already have this conversation, if not longer.
Definitely longer. But yeah, thank you. Man, take it easy.
Peace.
Peace.